I'm here with Cara, and we're just chatting a little bit about work and some of the challenges that come along with work. And she's in the beginning of her professional journey. But we were talking about the stress of work, and I know a lot of you feel that way. So I asked her if she'd be willing to share a little bit about it, and we're just going to talk from there. Thank you very much, Cara, for being willing to share. And when we were chatting the other day, you mentioned that work was really stressful and
Mhm.
to the point where, I mean, I think we're all kind of sick of Zoom, right? And which we're doing right now, but to the point where you didn't want to log in, just didn't
Mhm.
want to go.
Mhm.
Do you mind sharing with us? Could you share with us? And I've already asked her, so yes, she is okay with sharing with this. But what were you feeling that you thought, I don't even want to log into work?
I'm an extreme perfectionist, so it's either I've knocked something out of the park and done it like awesome, well, there's nothing wrong with it, or I failed and there's nothing in between oftentimes in my thinking. So for me, like even like the tiniest thing can be a perceived failure.
Mhm.
And that leads to a whole cascade of like shaming thoughts of like you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, other people see that you're not good or smart enough, other people think that you're also failing. And then for me, when I have that swarm that become so intense, it just makes me want to just check out and not do anything at all. With being young at work and feeling like I have to constantly prove myself and prove my worth, so to speak, I feel like I'm in this constant rat race of like trying to do everything the right way and then feeling like I can fail and then what that leads to as a result. So
I can understand. And I know a lot of you can understand that too. Absolutely. Do you ever feel like you're the only one that feels that way?
I don't, and that's something I've actually been learning recently. I know there's so many other young and older professionals that can feel that way as well. Um, and I think that's just kind of part of being human too, is like we're never going to be perfect. So I think that's something that I have been trying to remember is it's not just me alone feeling this, like other people feel it too. And it's in fact normal, not so uncommon. Yeah.
It's not uncommon. And it's interesting that we're having this conversation today because this morning got a bunch of books from the library, and one of them is a financial book. And I was reading it, and needless to say, I was feeling a bit behind the eight ball, big time. And all these emotions started coming up, and I was anxious. And we have a financial planning meeting with our financial planner coming up, and I I just thought, oh my gosh, I'm reading this and it's saying, okay, so if you start doing this when you're 30, when you're 30,
Like I've passed
well,
that.
okay. So basically, I'm going to have to like triple that. I was just feeling that I was feeling hopeless. I was feeling, I'm behind, we're behind, we're not going to make it. This is bad. Honestly, I felt stupid. And I told myself, you're so stupid. How did you let this happen?
Mm,
And And I just thought, okay, wait a minute. This is not good. Where are these thoughts? This is all Satan telling me this.
mhm,
And I literally had to write down, why should I feel secure? Because I said,
mhm,
okay, what are you feeling? I'm not feeling secure. I'm feeling hopeless, stupid, unprepared. Like I just listed all these things. Okay, what's the opposite of these things? Secure, hopeful,
mhm,
confident. And
mhm,
then I put a space and I literally had to write, why should I feel secure? Because of Romans 8:28, God works all things out for the good of those who love him. Because this is a test of my faith, and my faith is of greater worth than gold. And then I thought about other things that, scripture, but I thought about other things besides scripture too. We've always had what we've needed and more.
mm,
Even in our toughest times, all our bills were paid on time, every time. So these
mhm.
are things I had to go back and go, okay, what's actually happened in your life?
Proofs.
Yeah, exactly. Proofs. We've stayed out of debt. We've stuck with a budget for more than 20 years.
And even what you were sharing too, like reminds me of the scripture, be transformed by the renewal of your mind.
Yes.
And I feel like what you just walk through, like your thoughts versus the truth, is like that constant battle that I feel like we're waging between like what is our mind and what is Satan telling us, and then what does God reaffirm in his scriptures and through our lives and the ways that he's taking care of us, and like those past examples that we can always turn to, like I know God got me through this. So I think that's something that I'm like continually learning too, is just because I think it doesn't mean it's true,
Right.
but it is a battle, and I need to wage war with those spiritual tools that God gives us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's Romans 12:4. Do
Yes.
not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you'll
Yes.
be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will.
Yep. Yep. And another one of my anchor scriptures, and this is like since I became a disciple, this one always, always, always helps me, is all of Psalm 39, but especially starting in verse 13. For you created my inmost being, you knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I, Cara, and you, Jennifer, are fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. And if God says this about me, then nothing else matters. Like my thoughts, like none of that, because this is God, the creator of the universe, the creator of everything that we see, has said this about me. That always helps me like pull me back to the truth and pull me back to like who God says I am, what God says is true, and what God has done in my life.
Well, I can't think of a better way to end. Thank you, Cara, for sharing. Have a great week, everyone.